2 down, 1 to go. Virat Kohli, the greatest cricketer of all time, has taken his hat off in the T20 format, in the purest format that the game has to offer in tests, with only ODI cricket left. Virat Kohli hangs up the cape. We are discussing the legacy of Virat Kohli in the whites, in the red balls. With me, as always, the aficionado, the lookalike competition winner of Virat Kohli, Bashar Sayed.
We saw Virat Kohli retire from T20s back in June of last year. And now he's retired from the test format this year. One by one. It's a sad story because we'd love to see Virat Kohli in any format and any color of blue that he's playing for in India.
The domino is falling. Age is catching up to us. This is a stark reminder of where we stand on the timeline of the clock that just cannot be stopped. And Virat Kohli hangs another cape in. Now, the question that I have with the reason that we're doing this podcast so late is the back and forth that we had of Virat Kohli, a great cricketer, but not so great test cricketer. Or is he? Why are we doing a podcast on the 7th best South Asian player? Why? He's not even in the top 5.
I think there's a lot of misconception around Virat Kohli's career. If you just look at his numbers, and some would say they're good, not great. And I think in this podcast, I want to argue that Virat Kohli's impact was probably outside of the numbers that he's produced on Cricinfo. And you've got to look at it from a larger magnitude of his impact as test captain, on how he's changed the mentality of the Indian cricket with his fitness standards, how he became a fast bowler's captain, how he
Teached or taught?
Taught.
Maybe he could teach to you some English. That's a Mohammed Rizwan take. Sorry, I'm sorry.
How he led the way for India to win test matches and test series abroad, which was a foreign concept for Indian test captains in the past. So we'll analyze all of this. We'll discuss his numbers abroad, away, some of his career highlights. And even towards the end, we'll do a comparison between Virat Kohli and Yunus Khan, because those two test careers have been compared side by side. We'll get into all of that. And at the end of it,
near the end, I'm going to do a this or that with you.
Sure.
It's going to be South Asian batsman, and it's going to be Virat Kohli, and you're going to tell me who you choose.
Let's do it.
Before we get into all of that, thank you for laying down the plan, the agenda of this podcast. I just got to give a quick shout out to everybody who's living in the GTA, everybody who's in Ontario, in Canada, in the eastern coast of North America. If you are in the vicinity, I am speaking directly to you. The Blue Jays, the Toronto Blue Jays, yes, the Toronto Blue Jays are hosting cricket fans like you, me, alike, at Cricket Day at the Park at 31st May, 2025 at the Rogers Centre. You must show up. You must show up. If you're a cricket fan, if you're a baseball fan, if you're a fan of sport, it's a combination. It's a coming together of two sports that are distant cousins. It's a bat and ball sport. Not a lot of them going around. The two most popular forms of this. You and I, backward points will be there. Point boys will be there as we were last year. Ticket descriptions are in the description below. And not only that, if you're one of the first 15,000 people in the stadium, you get a free jersey, man.
Brown people love free stuff.
Get a free jacket. That's a Cricket Canada x Toronto Blue Jays jacket. It's a collaboration jacket. Last year we had hats.
It's going to be a one-of-one. It's going to be a collectible.
Last year we had them. We have 2 of them right now. Maybe in the next podcast episode, maybe we can wear them to show them off. Next, if you want the jackets, you can check those out as well. It's first 15,000 people get in. The ticket prices are relatively cheap.
And the link we have actually has a 15% discount applied to it.
Oh, that was a surprise for them. 15% discount as well on the link. When you go in, just use the link in the description below on audio and video podcasts, and you can be a part of Cricket Day at the Park at Rogers Centre. The Toronto Blue Jays, thank you very much for hosting this event. Bring in your family, bring in your friends, and you can come meet us there as well.
What was your initial reaction to Virat Kohli's Instagram post of him retiring? Because the context here is that we saw Virat Kohli play live in February. We were in Dubai for the Champions Trophy, and we got to see Virat in front of us.
He was 12 feet away.
And after seeing how fit he was, because at the age of 36, he was still fielding on deep mid wicket, long on, and when the sides changed in between overs, he would go from long on to long on, and within minutes. And then we also saw him score his 51st ODI century without really breaking any sweat. A lot of his runs in that century were consisting of singles and doubles and strike rotation, which is Virat Kohli's strength in white ball cricket. So after seeing him play live, my opinion was that he is so incredibly fit that he can continue playing tests and ODIs for at least the next 2 to 3 years.
There's more context to this. Rohit Sharma announced his retirement right as the conflict between India and Pakistan was starting to get heated up. And in between the maximum height of the conflict of India versus Pakistan, Virat Kohli slides his retirement in as well.
In the span of 10 days, India lost their current test captain, Rohit Sharma, and their former test captain, Virat Kohli.
That is the most suspicious thing for me. Why go out Virat Kohli, the superstar of cricket, the Ronaldo of cricket, the Jordan of cricket, the Kobe of name X player from X sport, he is that. Why does he go out with the whimper and not a bang?
I would imagine that Virat Kohli would have gotten like a farewell test match in Delhi, his home
Where's
city.
the tour? Where's the farewell tour? Why don't we get that?
Sachin Tendulkar's career, his 200th test match, his final test match was celebrated in Mumbai.
Jimmy Anderson had a whole tour named after him. It was the Jimmy Anderson farewell tour, and he got that at home. You're telling me that Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli don't want that / don't deserve that? What is the significance of sort of just stepping aside amicably, inconspicuously, under the radar, where there's a larger conflict in the region going on, and you just sort of slide in your chips like that? I don't understand that. That's not a Virat Kohli thing. That's not VK18 for me. That's not Rohit Sharma as well for me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That like the conspiracy theory hats, the tinfoil hats are going off right now. I saw a sort of a PR campaign against him right before his announcement came, as people on his side of the media were talking about how he's abandoning the team. The team is like left in disarray. Rohit Sharma's leaving, and there might have been some disagreements on who's going to captain. Was it going to be Bumrah? Was it going to be Gill? Was it going to be Kohli? With a player of his stature, there's bound to be controversies, but this one was it was weird.
Look, did they deserve a better farewell? Absolutely. But if you look back on history, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, they retired from the T20 format, again, without any heads up to the fans.
But they did that on the highest of highs of that format.
Again, they never got a farewell match. They
had a whole tournament. That whole T20 World Cup is their farewell tournament.
But did you know they were retiring?
No, but there's something to be said about that, right? There's something to be said about retiring at your peak. Jordan did that. 6 games, I'm out. 3 rings, I'm out. Comes back, 3 rings, I'm out. So I get that aspect of it. Retire at a high. Maybe not.
Well, they were going to retire either way, because they had announced it to the squad that this is their last game. So everybody who was playing that match knew that this is Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma's last.
Now, here's the question. Here's the question I posed to you. 2023 final in Ahmedabad, India versus Australia. If Rohit Sharma wins that game, does he retire?
Probably not. And
Really?
I say this because in hindsight, he's won 2 trophies since that ODI World Cup final. And hearing his recent interview, he mentions that what I sense from his tone is that he wants to win the next ODI World Cup as a vengeance from losing the last ODI World Cup at home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he wants to bid farewell to that format. So I think Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, all of their energy will be focused on the next ODI World Cup coming up.
That's the only format left for them. Let's go. Let's take a breather and let's focus on the man in the moment right now. The question has been posed to you before as well. I'll re-pose that question to you. Why are we celebrating a man who is maybe not in the top 5 in South Asian cricketers in tests?
I would disagree with that, actually.
Really? He's in your top 5?
He's absolutely in the top 5, yes.
All right, let's go. Let's list your top 5 first.
Just looking at his career first, we can debate whether he's a great top 5, top 10 later. But
I love Virat Kohli.
Let's analyze his career first.
I love Virat Kohli. I don't think he ends up in my top 5 South Asian batsmen. Not even test batsmen, South Asian batsmen. There's like at least 5
you need
better
some
batsmen.
concrete stats to back that up.
Let's go.
Looking at Virat's overall career, 123 test matches, 9,230 runs, highest score of 254, average of 46.85, 30 test matches, and 31 50s, 15 ducks.
15 ducks.
He ends up as the fourth highest score for India in test matches. He has the most double hundreds by an Indian in test matches. And you can actually break down Virat Kohli's test career into three phases. The first phase is when he first came onto the scene, made his test debut. Between, I would say, 2009 to 2014, you can say in the 29 test matches he played there, he scored 1,855 runs at an average close to 40, 600s, 950s. And then this next phase of Virat Kohli's career was arguably some of the best purple patches you've ever seen in Test match cricket history. Between October 2014 to December 2019, Virat Kohli played 55 Test matches, 90 innings. He scored 5,347 runs at a staggering average of 63.65, 21 Test match hundreds, and 13 50s. Did you get that?
Lay it on me again.
So in that 5-year period, he has scored 21 plus 13 is 34. He scored 50s 34 times, and 21 times he's converted those 50s into hundreds.
The ratio between centuries and 50s, I've never seen it that stark. That's insane.
In the last part of Virat Kohli's career, the last 5 years, you can say, since January of 2020, he has played 39 test matches, 69 innings, 2,028 runs, 30.72 average, just 300s and 950s.
Who else in the world can get 39 test matches an average like that? I feel like we're being harsh on Babar Azam right now with this kind of stats.
Well, you have to look at it in the sense where the 5-year purple patch he had was so great that this last 5 years had to happen.
Why?
I feel like in 2014 to 2019, there was a lot of pressure on him. He became the Indian captain. He became their most premier batter, right? So there's sort of two voids that Virat Kohli is filling. The first void is the departure of Sachin Tendulkar, arguably one of the best test batters of all time. And secondly, he's also filling the void of one of India's greatest captains ever in MS Dhoni. And one person, Virat Kohli, is doing that himself as a captain, as their premier batter, and changing the entire mindset of the Indian team, pushing himself to be a better batter, scoring runs in Australia, scoring runs in England, South Africa, the Sena countries, centuries all over the place. I think when you push yourself and your team so hard in a 4 to 5 year window, you basically squeeze out all the juice that you have left to give to the game. And we saw this happen to Michael Jordan when he first won his, I think, the first 3 championships he won. Post that, Michael Jordan's dad passed away, and Michael Jordan announced his retirement from basketball. He then went on to pursue a career in baseball. A reason behind his retirement, he said that he was just burnt out. And then Jordan retired again once he came back, won a couple of more championships.
3
championships. And he mentioned that he felt burnt out again. So Test cricket is arguably the hardest format. You're toiling in the heat for 5 days in foreign conditions and home conditions. And once you've given your everything to the game, it has to take a toll on you. It's not even just his life on the pitch, but his life off the pitch has evolved as well. He got married, he got kids, stuff is happening, right? So your mental focus gets distracted and just drained physically and mentally.
I mean, Virat Kohli, without a doubt, the bastion of Test match cricket. He has been a vocal supporter of this format. He says that this is the purest form of the game. This is the most important form of the game. It is the most skillful form of the game. If you want to test someone's patience, if you want to test someone's rigor, their vigor, you have to play this format to the highest of capacity. And he did that purple patch you're talking about, the most centuries in that period, just going out there and proving himself not only at home, but in Sena countries, which, as a South Asian captain, batsman, everybody has struggled. And to go off of the lean patch he had started with, and then have that, and then stick to that. Winning in England, winning in Australia, just bringing back, not bringing it back, but there is an argument to be made that the vicious Indian team that we see today, that has the swagger, the attitude, just that compulsion to win, stems from Virat Kohli and his attitude and who he is as a person and what kind of morals he has ingrained into the Indian cricket team that has now carried roots. And that's why you get a Hardik Pandya and you get a Shubman Gill and you get a Shreyas Iyer, who are just determined to win.
To quote Greg Chappell said that Virat Kohli is the most Australian, non-Australian player we've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't want to, blow smoke up the Australians' ass on this podcast, but sure, I'll take that. I just think that I just don't know if there's anybody in world cricket right now that wants to win as much as Virat Kohli did. I don't think so. Is there anybody in the current Indian team that you can point to and be like, they have that same fire that VK had? I doubt it. Is Shubman Gill that guy? I don't know. Maybe Bumrah, a little bit. But I don't see anybody else wanting it as much as Virat Kohli did and going after it as much as Virat Kohli did. So that is a gaping hole, not only in Indian cricket, but in world cricket, that will take time to fill. That being said, how can it be that a world-class player like Virat Kohli has that purple patch in the middle between 2014 and 2019, where the entire media is on him? He has a very high-profile relationship with a very high-profile movie star. He has to not only dabble his personal life and private life, but his professional and sports life. He has to do the most amount of ads. He has to play World Cups and T20s, and he has to gather the courage of these cricket players and make them world-class. Some of them, have punched above their weight and succeeded. Some of them, they were just already great. He does all that. He puts India into the top echelon of world cricket. And then he has this patch after 2020, where it's just like a shell of himself, where the purest form of the game that he has rallied behind and has been an ambassador to sort of falls behind him. And Virat Kohli will tell you before anybody else can that he will not retire from this game until the game gets away from him. He has said it many times on many platforms that the day he does not have fun playing cricket, he will put it away. So are you telling me that Test cricket has just gotten away from him and that he pulled the plug before the plug was pulled for him?
I think in the past few years, a reason behind his downfall is what happened to him with the whole captaincy issue between him and the board, and the captaincy being taken away from him from all formats and giving it to Rohit Sharma. This was post the 2021 T20 World Cup.
Post 152 for 0.
Yes, India gets a first round exit from the World Cup, loses to Pakistan, loses to New Zealand, and Virat Kohli then announces to retire, to step down as captain from that format. But instead, the BCCI takes away captaincy from all formats from him and gives it to Rohit Sharma. I think post that incident, Virat Kohli struggled in all formats. He went through a patch where for, I believe, 2+ years, he could not score a century.
Very reminiscent of another South Asian batsman that's going through a patch like that has not scored a century since my son was born.
And so Virat Kohli was going through, I think, a mental block there, and it took him a while to get over that entire episode. So I would credit a lot of his performances in the past 5 years to just being drained mentally, physically. The ripple effects of the whole captaincy scandal that happened with him and the BCCI and Rohit Sharma. So I'm not surprised, but still overall, I think he's done quite well. The one thing we also aren't considering is if you're comparing him to the greatest South Asian batters, the one thing that's changed in cricket in the past 10 to 15 years is the fact that cricketers now play all three formats.
Okay.
Right? If you're going for a series in England, you're probably playing 5 tests, 5 ODIs,
3 T20s.
3 T20s.
Sure.
In the past, that was never the case. We've never seen cricketers play this much cricket than they have in the past decade or so. Virat Kohli had to play all 3 formats. He had to play the IPL. He had to do all his ad stuff and lead India in the meantime. All of this for one single human being takes a significant toll. It doesn't matter how mentally or physically tough you are.
Okay, look, I agree with that. But Virat Kohli has done Tendulkar could walk, so VK could run, so Shubman Gill could jog. That's my hot take. That all these people, they open doors for newer cricketers to take it easy. Virat Kohli worked hardest working man in cricket, probably. Full stop. And you have to be, you know, just an ace in all these departments to be where he is. Like he's worth $150 million a year because he's able to not only be the best cricketer ever, but he's also able to pull those ad spots. Now he gets very high, like I just mentioned, he's highly paid in those departments. So I don't think his sweat's getting into a crunch, but there are expectations and weighted expectations from his fans, from Indian cricket fans, because we know that Indian cricket can be brutal and vicious, and they can take you in a second, they can pull you up, in a second they can take you down. And to navigate those murky waters for Virat Kohli, that itself should be a legacy and a case study for superstars to see how they want to be. There's a KP way to do it, which is controversy after controversy after controversy, or there's a VK way to do it, which is I'm just going to play cricket and let my bad do the talking. So I respect that aspect of it for sure. He may have been trying to think, because I don't want to overstep and like shine a brighter light on Virat Kohli than he deserves, because there are some really, really good superstars in a previous life in cricket. Imran Khan, Sunil Gavaskar, Viv Richards, that have had scandals and have been in that public eye, but have navigated it quite differently. But there may not have been a bigger superstar than Virat Kohli in cricket, full stop. The most followed sports person after Ronaldo, more than LeBron James. There is some sort of weight that comes to that name, and he had navigated it really well without the detriment of his batting. But then there did come a point where, like you said, you can pinpoint that right exact inflection point when the captaincy is taken away from him, or he's giving it away to Rohit Sharma, and yeah, everything changes after that. That dry period comes, and man, we heard a lot of chit chat going on around the cricket sphere about that dry period. And did that dent his legacy in test matches? I think so. I mean, what he's done to change the mindset of the Indian cricket team cannot be understated. Like, MS Dhoni won the World Cup after a long time. Yes, I agree. Both World Cups in 07 and in 11. In 11, he was an integral part of that team as well. He was a young'un. He was trying to make a name for himself. But what he did to carry that legacy forward, not only Tendulkar's, but MS Dhoni's, as a vicious captain, as a captain who can look into the eyes of the English players and the Australian players and the West Indian players and be like, who are you? I'm Virat Kohli. We saw that anger and that just that will not to survive, but will to win got kind of bitter near the end, where you're just like shoving Sam Constas and then not showing up for the BGT at all. That one test century, that's it. That's all he got. And that's when I thought that we are looking at a shadow of the great man that once played this game.
I think you can break down Indian test captains in 4 phases. The first one being Saurav Ganguly, who
brought them back.
Who was like a true leader, so to speak, strategic captain. And that was then taken forward by MS Dhoni, the ice cool captain. And then Virat Kohli took all of that from Ganguly, from Dhoni, and he lit a fire into it. He showed the Indian team how to win test matches. Amongst the most successful test captains in test match history, I think he's right behind Graeme Smith, Ricky Ponting, and Steve Waugh in terms of test match wins. And he goes down as the most successful test captain for India. And then now this final phase of Indian captaincy is Rohit Sharma, where he's been like, okay, you guys were great, but let me show you how to actually win trophies and be dominant. Let's look at a few of Virat Kohli's career highlights.
Before we do that, can I just say something?
What?
I have a message from Sendwave.
What's up?
To our followers and viewers. Sendwave has come to me directly and told me, hey, Backward Point listeners, if you use the code SCOREPK, you can get $10 off your first transfer using Sendwave. If you're sending money back home to Pakistan, this is the way to do it. The first time you use it, you don't even have to send more than $5. You can use $1 if you want. Use our code SCOREPK. The receiver will get $11. That's a great way to try it out. It's a free $10. It's on us. It's on Backward Point.
You also get very competitive rates on your first transfer.
Correct. And not only that, they used to do this thing where if you send over $100, you got one of the most competitive rates in the market. But now they've streamlined it. If you send $1, $5, $10, $100, $1,000, you get that same rate throughout, that promo rate that we're talking about throughout, from 1 to all the way to 1,000. Use the code SCOREPK. Let Sendwave know that we sent you by using this code. And not only that, they are giving away 6 Umrah packages. The way to sign up for those is you can refer 2 people. All those people can use our code SCOREPK as well, get $10 off of their initial transfer, and that's considered one entry. So if you want to get 5 entries, you refer to 5. You refer to 10 people. If you want to get 10 entries, you refer to 20 people, and so on and so forth. So Sendwave, sponsor of this podcast, sponsor of the PSL Dailies. Thank you very much for sponsoring this, Sendwave. And yeah, let's carry on to the message. You were giving us some really important stats there.
I don't know about you, but this is just my personal Virat Kohli Test career highlights. And it starts off with India's tour to Australia in 2014, 2015. This is when Virat Kohli takes over the captaincy from MS Dhoni mid-series. And he comes out as the second highest run scorer with 4 centuries. Now, Martin Crowe was the one who pointed out this Fab 4.
He established it.
Which was Virat Kohli, Steve Smith, Kane Williamson, and Joe Root.
And then Bashar Sayed was the one who said Fab 5. Added Babar Azam to it.
That was Simon Dewell, guys.
Okay.
How are we taking Simon Dewell seriously?
All right.
And so in that series, Virat Kohli scored 4 centuries. And Virat Kohli's, I think, debut century was also in Australia and the previous tour that India had. This is significant because this is against a mean Australian team.
Name the bowlers.
Mitchell Johnson, Mitchell Stark, I believe Josh Hazelwood, Nathan Lyon. And so these guys were mean and rude, and they would sledge you until you cried. But Virat Kohli was the first batter plus captain who went to Australia, looked the Australians in the eyes, and gave them a big F you.
Didn't he? Is it that the same series where he actually showed the middle finger to the paparazzi or whatever?
I have to double check.
Do you remember that?
There is a picture of him like that. I don't know where it's from.
Full middle finger.
I gotta see the context.
It's one of the Australian series for sure. No, for sure. What he's done to change the mindset of the Indian cricket team to make sure that they don't fall shy or sort of scoot away from the Australian verbal attack. Because when you're playing Australia, it's not just the cricket you're playing. You're playing the media, you're playing the paparazzi, you're playing the journalists, you're playing their players, and then you're playing the words that are coming out of their mouths. And Virat Kohli was the one who was like, I'm not going to take any of this. I'm not going to let my men just crumble under the weight of this. And they succeeded.
Typically, South Asians would go to Australia and they would be these really nice guys and disciplined. And Virat Kohli's like, no, we can't do that. We got to look them back in the eyes. And if they gave us 1 sledge, we got to get them 2 sledges.
I was reading, again, Usman Samyuddin's The Unquiet Ones. And, you know, it'll be unfair to completely characterize this as a Virat Kohli thing because there was one other person who went to Australia and gave them a mouthful, and that was Javed Mirdad. He also had that fire of winning at all costs and did not see who the opponent was. Even though Virat Kohli is a lot more groomed and a lot more centered as a person, as a personality than Mirdad was. Mirdad didn't even know English. He would swear at them in Punjabi and Urdu. And so that legacy has been carried forward. If you're a South Asian cricketer, you know these two people very well. Virat Kohli and Javed Mirdad go hand in hand when it comes to just the attitude and in diminishing what the opposition actually is.
The next, I think, redemption arc for me was in 2014 when Virat Kohli went to England. He scored 134 runs in 10 innings at an average of 13.4. His highest score was 39, and that also included 2 ducks. He got caught out 8 out of those 10 matches at 10 innings, and a lot of it was struggling against the moving ball, particularly against Jimmy Anderson. Now, in the next...
Fourth stump king comes from there.
To quote Virat Kohli himself, he said that in that series, he knew when he was going out to bat that he was going to get out. Like he was going out there to bat to get out. That was the mindset.
Crushed self-esteem, fourth stump king. The memes start from there.
Edges to slips. Just he didn't know how to play the moving ball. Come 2018, Virat Kohli comes back and he scores a century in his first innings of that tour. 149 at Edgbaston. Now, he gets dropped a couple of times in his first 25 runs he scored. But there's a quote that I live by. The harder I worked, the luckier I got. And so Virat Kohli got lucky, scored a century, and at the end of that series, he scored 593 runs.
Yeah, that's the one.
In 10 innings, 2 centuries, 350s, 59.3 average. And he was also announced as the player of the series, shared with Sam Curran. For context, the second highest run scorer was Joss Butler, and there was about a 200 run difference between Joss Butler and Virat Kohli. That's how good he was. He went to England, where there was a lot of demons for him. He conquered the UK, and India ended up losing that series, but just him as a batter to go out there. There's a lot of question marks on his technique, his ability to play the outswing, the fifth stump, the fourth stump, outswingers, Jimmy Anderson. And for, again, a South Asian batter to go to the UK, own it, that's commendable.
I think that what you're talking about from that 2014 to 2018 jump, I don't know if any other cricketer would have gone that far to be the best and to be awarded that player of the match, player of the series trophies, because it's the demons thing you're talking about, that he would just be relentless on himself to make sure that he does not make those same mistakes. Now, those same mistakes, they come to follow him back in this third era of his career that we will get to. But that's sort of the legacy that we're touching upon and moving away from and going back to, is that he was the guy who wanted to be the best on the field. And if he wasn't, he would work hard and make sure that he was. I don't see that fire from anybody else right now in this current system. AB de Villiers had that same fire, by the way, who happens to be his role model. Like, he wanted to be like AB de Villiers. Same thing with Bob Rosen. AB de Villiers is that guy, that fulcrum, that midpoint between those two players, and where they wanted to be the best and they wanted to improve. Now, I don't want to bring this conversation back to Babar, but Babar does not have that bone in him to improve at that level and be the best and continue being the best. You see flashes of brilliance now from him, but he still has not been able to get the monkey off his back, which is that dreadful century that he has been so elusive to him. But with Virat Kohli, he wanted to make sure that if he had demons, if he had some reservations on the way he played, like you said, that mindset of, I knew I was a walking wicket, I was going to go into to basically get out. He did not want to be a liability on the team, and I think that that whole ethos comes back right now as to his retirement, as well as we try to figure out why he retired the way he did and in the manner he did, because maybe he thought he was a liability. Maybe the game wasn't as fun to him anymore. Maybe he thought that his weaknesses got the better of him. Although the Virat Kohli that I know and love, that's not the way that he operates. So it's all a bit suspicious to me. But that 2018, 2019 series, that 149, like, we watched a lot of match tape, man. We grinded a lot of tape to better understand the man, the myth himself in this podcast. And that 149 goes down in history.
He still ended up his career with averaging some of the lowest in England. Barring Bangladesh.
It's a tough place, man. It's a tough place.
33.21 average in England in 33 innings, just 200. So I think towards the end of it, he overall struggled against the moving ball. And it was always a dilemma where he scored a lot of runs on the fifth stump, on drives, on square cuts. At the same time, he also found the better of himself by the bowlers on that same fifth stump line. I think just zooming on that 2016 or 2018 patch that he had, I think across formats, he was just incredible. Just the run he went on was unbelievable. And in test matches, in that period from 2016 to 2018, he scored 3,596 runs in 35 tests, 66.59 average, 14 test match hundreds, 850s in 50 innings.
That's insane. That's why that you're absolutely right. Smack on. That 2016 to 2019 period was probably the best that he's ever played, that he will ever get to play. He was unstoppable, unbeatable. If he was on the pitch and the game was out of his hands, he would still find a way to come back. The game was never over until Virat Kohli was out, which, as an adversary, as the guy who plays against my team, when Pakistan wins that 2017 World Cup and gets Virat Kohli out twice, it's so much sweeter because you got the best batsman out twice. That's why Mohammad Navar, with whatever reservations you have of him, of his opinions, of whatever his character may be to you, you cannot deny the man that he got that same person out twice. And that win, that 2017 Champions Trophy win for Pakistan, the Indian fans are fuming right now. I'm talking about
Virat Kohli's test career,
and I'm talking
this guy's bringing up Mohammad Navar and Virat Kohli.
Always will do that because that's just how good he was in that period. And to make sure that people don't forget why that win is celebrated so much, it's not only just because it's a Pakistan-India win, it's because you were able to beat the best of the best at his peak.
Talking about Virat Kohli, the test captain, I think this is exactly where his legacy in this format is going to be remembered by. 40 wins in 68 matches, 17 losses and 11 draws, 16 away wins among these 40 wins. He ends up as the most successful Indian test captain in history. To give context, Dhoni is second with 27 wins from 60 matches and Ganguly with 21 wins in 49 matches. So Virat Kohli's win-loss ratio
quite high,
is really high.
Yeah. There's no one like him.
Superbly high.
No one like him. 100%.
And I think the biggest part of his legacy is going to be that no Indian team, no Indian captain had ever won a test match series in Australia in history up until 2018. Virat Kohli leads an Indian team with 2-1 test series win in Australia. And I think since then, India's been quite prolific abroad.
I think that was the changing point of just the mindset being completely stamped into the psyche of how Indian cricket is going to be played. That win made sure that the parity between the Australians and Indians became the same. They were the same team now. It was not like there was no. You couldn't talk about them in different leagues because they became one and done. And that's when in the periphery, you could talk about the big three, talking about making a conglomerate and basically sucking up all the money. But that was only because the big three was only established because they thought that they were the best three. They were bringing in the most money and they were the best three teams. And that's why there's the most eyeballs on those things. And the 2018 win against Australia in Australia solidified that. That became the thing where this team has to be reckoned with. They also built a fortress at home, which is also should be talked about with the three spinners with Ashwin, Jadeja, and Akshar Patel. They were able to win. Kuldeep, yeah, like you can interchange all these players, but what they were able to do at home as well, like that fortress, which was actually defeated just recently with New Zealand winning there, that was also a lot of that legacy goes to Virat Kohli coming out and finding a way to win. Something that Pakistan has not been able to do in years, but add a little brush, add a little heater, and apparently that's the secret cheat code.
Virat Kohli was also an incredible fast bowlers captain.
Talk about that.
I think once he realized that to win abroad, you need quick fast bowlers with good lines, good lengths. That's when he sort of made this pool of fast bowlers, which included Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Shami, Ishant Sharma, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Bumrah.
I was like, really? You're going to forget
Bumrah? Last but not the least, Jasprit Bumrah.
100%.
And so all of these bowlers, I think they've gone on to achieve some incredible milestones. I think Bumrah is one of the greatest test bowlers in this current era. Shami has 200 plus wickets. Ishant Sharma has 300 plus wickets. And you need those sort of bowlers to go to England, New Zealand, South Africa, Australia to get wickets. You win test matches by getting 20 wickets.
100%. You know what else you need? Yashi Sports.
Canada's home of cricket.
If Virat Kohli is the home of cricket in my heart, then Yashi is the Canada's home of cricket. I butchered that. I had that written and I butchered that.
You can use the code BP10 at
Thank you.
yashisports.com for 10% off your purchase. They are the go-to spot for getting cricket equipment if you're in North America. They've got a wide variety, a collection of cricket equipment, which I encourage you guys to implore. Click the link in the description. Go to yashisports.com. Get your bats, helmets, pads, shoes. We personally use gear from Yashi Sports.
We're going to use it today after this podcast.
I have a Yashi Sports iPad. You have a Yashi Sports shoes that you bought from there, A6
Peaks.
And you too can also purchase from Yashi Sports.
You too, the band?
You can go in person and you can also get the expert advice from Yashi Sports, which they pride themselves in.
Totally. Thank you very much, Yashi Sports, for supporting this podcast and many others just like this. We're now coming to the sad part of the legacy of Virat Kohli, which is the last 5 years. What happened?
We talked about this.
What happened?
Pressure. I think maybe I thought it was just really comical recently where the BCCI was like, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, you guys need to play domestic. And so Virat Kohli made his first class comeback for Delhi, gets owned by this really average medium pacer. Rohit Sharma also flops in his game for Mumbai. So I think people say it's a lack of first-class cricket. I would say they're mentally drained. The whole captaincy saga that happened with Virat eventually took a toll on him.
Rohit Sharma is older than Virat Kohli, by the way.
Yes.
So Rohit Sharma's timing makes a bit more sense. Virat, 36, man. I feel like he had at least a couple more years than him.
To quote Ravi Shastri, I think Virat Kohli will leave cricket altogether. He will disappear from the scene once he retires.
Do you think he'll ever come on Backward Point?
One day.
Maybe 5-10 years from now, Backward Point, Virat Kohli collaboration.
One day.
For Puma or something. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, Virat Kohli's last 5 years, not much to talk about there. That's why this whole situation feels a little bit weird, a little bit awkward. Goes out with a whimper, not a bang. That's not the Virat Kohli way. And this was also like a very weird podcast for me, especially to do because I said this on top of the podcast. Man doesn't even follow my top 5 of the greatest South Asian
top
batsmen.
5.
Maybe let's put it another way. I will tell you, because I was talking about the quote unquote trivia or the this or that of it all. You tell me who you would pick between Virat Kohli and ex-batsman.
Sure.
All right. And then you will answer my question for me. Virat Kohli or Sachin Tendulkar? You gotta go quick.
Sachin.
Thank you. Virat Kohli or Rahul Dravid?
Rahul Dravid.
Virat Kohli or Sunil Gavaskar?
Virat Kohli.
Okay. That's one for Virat. That's Virat Kohli or VVS Lakshman?
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli or Mohammad Yusuf?
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli or Yunus Khan?
Virat Kohli.
Really?
The reason why...
Gun to your head, your life on the line, 4th innings, you need 120 runs to win, 5 wickets left, Yunus Khan or Virat Kohli?
Hold on.
No, give me an answer. Don't hold on me.
Hold on. You need to give context. The reason why
I'm talking about Virat Kohli, the batsman.
Okay, the reason why I'm giving Virat Kohli a slight edge is because if I'm making my playing 11 for a South Asia team, Virat Kohli is probably being my test captain of that team.
As a batsman.
His test captaincy numbers are only behind Graeme Smith, Ricky Ponting, and Steve Waugh.
So you're saying that Virat Kohli over Imran Khan as your test captain?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because Virat Kohli can win me test matches abroad. If you give Virat Kohli Wasim Akram, Jasprit Bumrah, Waqar Younis, and let's say Imran Khan or Kapil Dev, he's going to go to UK, he's going to go to South Africa, Australia, he's going to win matches for me.
You know who won series with Sarfaraz Nawaz, Waqar Younis, Saqlain Mushtaq in West Indies, in Wasim Akram in West Indies? Imran Khan. He had a 10-year period where he was averaging 50 and averaging 20 with the ball. That's
How
not even
many
remotely
series
close.
win in Australia?
It was a different time, but I'm just saying.
So you're comparing eras now?
I'm just saying, yeah, 100% I'm going to compare.
Okay, so it's an eras thing.
It's definitely an eras thing. Like Virat Kohli as your South Asian team captain, it's not a hot
So how can you compare Virat Kohli and Gavaskar?
But you're saying that Imran Khan over Virat Kohli, that's a hot take, in my opinion.
Well, Imran Khan is an all-rounder. Virat Kohli is a batter. How can you compare?
I'm just saying as a captain.
Test captain Virat Kohli.
Okay, crazy take. But, you know.
Backed by his numbers.
Okay. Well,
4th most successful captain.
There's some Indian backing that you need to tell me about, then you should need to disclose it now. Virat Kohli or Ganguly?
Virat Kohli.
Okay. Wait, I'm not done yet. Virat Kohli or Sangakkara?
Sangakkara.
Virat Kohli or Jayawardene?
Virat Kohli.
That's 4 people over Virat Kohli that you've already chosen. Virat Kohli, NZ, just off the top of my head. Virat Kohli or Inzamam Haq?
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli or Javed Mirdad?
Virat Kohli.
Okay. So that's like at least 4 people that
would you
on
have
top
done
of South Asia. And this is just South Asia.
Wait, would you have picked anything different? Like in the names you gave me, who would you pick and who?
I would go Jayawardene over Virat Kohli. I would go Mohammad Yusuf over Virat Kohli.
Yusuf over Kohli.
Yes. I would go Tendulkar, Dravid, and Gavaskar over Kohli. Yeah, he's not in my top 5. South Asian. And if you go top 5 test batters or all, forget about it. Not even 10.
Hot takes. Very hot takes.
That's not a hot take. Virat Kohli over Don Bradman.
I think you're...
Virat Kohli over Alistair Cook.
Don't let the last 5...
Virat Kohli over Graeme Smith.
Don't let the last 5 years of Virat Kohli taint his entire test legacy.
I'm not. You know what? You have to take it as a whole. And I think... You know the Twitter page, Out of Context Cricket? They started... I don't know if they made this or maybe they were just reposting these memes, but Virat Kohli's career is comparable to Hashim Amla. And that's a fact.
You're looking at numbers. I think...
I'm taking it as a whole. I'm not taking era 1, era 2, era 3.
Again, you're looking at just the numbers. I think
I am.
You've got to zoom out and look at...
You're talking about legacy.
I'm talking about impact. I'm talking about legacy. I'm talking about winning abroad. I'm talking about being a fast bowler's captain. I'm talking about winning a test series in Australia. I'm talking about making the World Test Championship final. I'm talking about making the #1 test team for a long period of time.
100%. Look, what you're saying
I'm talking about changing the mindset of Indian test team. I'm talking about bringing the Yo-Yo test, having diet plans, having probably the most fittest Indian team in history. That is impact.
I'll tell you right now, this is the best comp I can think of. You're saying that AI has more impact on culture in the NBA than Kawhi Leonard does, but Kawhi Leonard has 2 chips.
ChatGPT AI?
No, AI, like Allen Iverson. And I would
I
agree
don't
with
follow
you.
basketball
You're saying
enough.
that AI is a more important player than Kawhi Leonard is. That's what you're telling me. And I agree with you. But at the same time, I'm saying AI has no chips. I'm saying that Virat Kohli, and when it comes to numbers, is equivalent to Hashim Amla. To the T, actually. And there are better batsmen in tests than Virat Kohli, just as a pure batsman stat. Now, the impact, the legacy, the change of the mindset, changing of the sport thing, I totally agree. He has the impact on cricket that Michael Jordan has on basketball. Wayne Gretzky on hockey, right? Tiger Woods on golf, whatever. Ronaldo, Messi on soccer, football. Tom Brady on football, American football. I'm totally with you there with all that. But as a pure batsman, as a numbers guy, as a gun to your head, your life on the line, who would you rather bat for your life? Has to score 50 or you're dead? There's at least 5 names over Virat Kohli's in test.
I think
You just give me 4 in South Asia. If I open that pool up to worldwide, I don't think he comes in the top 10. Virat Kohli or Brian Lara?
Brian Lara.
Virat Kohli over, let me see, Ricky Ponting. That's what I'm saying.
I think we need to agree to disagree here. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below.
This is what Backward Point's all about, guys.
Where does Virat Kohli end amongst your list of great test players?
If the day that Virat Kohli hangs in the cape for good, like ODI cricket as well, that's when you and I will be in unison and say that Virat Kohli is the greatest cricketer that has ever played this game, and it's the saddest day in cricket for him.
But wouldn't you then be like, okay, well, you're comparing different eras?
No, I wouldn't be that. I'm like,
Sachin probably faced tougher bowling.
All eras, all cricket, every single player. Virat Kohli has the most impact. He is the most important player in cricket. Full stop. When that day comes, but that's a podcast for another day.
On that note, guys, thank you for tuning in.
Great potting, sure. Good potting.
I enjoy this podcast. I think even though it's a few days late, I think it was important to document this and put it out there. Hopefully in a few years, anybody finds this and they can let us know in the comment section below what you guys think of Virat Kohli, his test career, his legacy. Thank you to the Patreon chat. Thank you to the Discord server, Sendwave, Yashi Sports, the Toronto Blue Jays. And thank you for being on the podcast.
100%. Thank you very much. Cheers.